Okay, so we're going to do a chapter critique on Chapter 5, Assisted Migration, out of the MMR's book, The Rambunctious Garden. So, anthropogenic climate change is well documented across the globe, and we know that most plants and animals prefer certain temperatures, precipitation, and conditions within their threshold of tolerance. To prevent early extinctions, increasingly conservationists are considering moving animals and plants in advance of climate change to places where they might thrive in a warmer future. So, the main point of this chapter is the conversation and dialogue that ecologists and conservation biologists are having over whether to move species from one place to another and maybe in doing so create an invasive species, or to do nothing and watch plants and animals go extinct. So the author presents a well balanced argument with people proposing to move plants and animals and people and the opponents who are worried about the integrity of a co evolved ecosystem. The author argues that the range shift for many individual species is well documented, with visible effects of tree lines moving up higher up the side of alpine slopes, along with butterflies, as they're easy to study, have been studied to maybe move from one geographic location to another, but interestingly, where they lay their eggs on certain plants and how they pollinate different plants have repercussions in cooler climates as the environment is heating up. The author uses the argument of assisted migration of the American pika, featured here in this picture. It's a small flower nibbling mammal that lives in the alpine boulder fields. Some of its habitat is already disappearing, and it would be so nice if we could just pick up that animal and move it further north to the next mountain range. The animal can't go down into the valley to then move to the next mountain range because it's outside of its own habitat. The author also argues with the case study of foresters in British Columbia and the growing of timber in pines. They have different species that they plant in different areas, they've got different zonation maps, and they're suggesting that as climate changes over time, that they should be able to move certain plant species from one zone into another, and it could be quite controversial because the trees grow over a 30-year cycle and they don't have much data to support their case. So in summary, assisted migration has a lot of appeal, particularly for commercially important species like timber trees. It's inevitable for ornamental species in a gardening concept, and for a lot of people it's a done deal.